The most immediate threat to Burma's transition is the rising anti-Muslim sentiment and officially condoned abuse of the Rohingya people. I met with state and local leaders and both Rakhine and Rohingya populations, and also talked to internally displaced persons and those, mostly Rohingya, living in a section of Sitwe called Angmingwarar, a part of the city that can only be called a ghetto. In Angmingwarar, I heard the echoes of my childhood. You see, in 1944, as a Jew in Budapest, I too was a Rohingya. The parallels to the Nazi genocide are alarming. Fortunately, we have not reached the stage of mass killing.
Myanmar today is taking action to expel the Rohingyas, the Muslim part of its population, who have been there over the past 800 years or so. They have always been regarded as citizens of Burma before, and since Myanmar is a continuation of Burma, it should accept these people as its citizens. That Myanmar does not even want to recognize the Rohingyas who have been there all this while as its citizens. This is grossly unjust on the part of the government of Myanmar. Oppression by the government is something that is intolerable.
If today we can talk about one of the most neglected people in the world, one of the most forgotten, I would say would be the Rohingya of Myanmar. The Rohingya seem to have the least of rights, the least of privileges as citizens of Myanmar, as human beings. The process of transition from dictatorship to democracy is a complex, tortuous, unpredictable, long one, and we must all contribute to create a climate of dialogue, mutual acceptance, and maybe moving towards a roadmap leading to a Myanmar that is politically open, pluralistic, and that is embracing of all its ethnic and religious communities.
Right now, they feel they have two equally risky options: to stay and die in Myanmar or leave by boat. The Rohingya are the only ethnic group in Burma whose struggle is peaceful without any arms. And it is time the international community recognise and support their non-violent struggle for their basic human rights. We want the European Union, ASEAN and the international community to recognise the suffering of the Rohingya people and the fact that they are experiencing crimes against humanity at the hands of their own government. We want the ethnic cleansing of the Rohingya people to end. We as the international community have a responsibility to stand for the rights of the Rohingya people and to speak out to save their lives.
As lovers of peace and believers in the right of all members of the family to dignity and security, we have particular responsibilities to the Rohingya. 2015 is a big year for Myanmar, with both a referendum on its constitution and a general election on its calendar. Even as we seek to encourage the country to build on the reforms it has started, we have a responsibility to ensure that the plight of the Rohingya is not lost. A country that is not at peace with itself, that fails to acknowledge and protect the dignity and worth of all its people, is not a free country. Freedom is indivisible. All must be invited. All are part. Government of Myanmar has sought to absolve itself of responsibility for the conflict between the Rakhine and the Rohingya, projecting it as sectarian or communal violence. But I'd be more inclined to heed the warnings of eminent scholars and researchers, including Amartya Sen, the Nobel Laureate in economics, who say this is a deliberately false narrative to camouflage the slow genocide being committed against the Rohingya people. And we have a responsibility to persuade our international and regional aid and grant-making institutions, including the European Union, to adopt a common position, making funding the development of Myanmar conditional on the restoration of citizenship, nationality, and basic human rights to the Rohingya.